Well, if you're doing Scrum, we do checks in Scrum, right? I mean, we do that every day when we do our daily stand-up. We're checking how things are done. It's the same thing with OKRs. A, since the last time we did a check-in, did anything change? How's your confidence level? Is this stuff happening or not? Do we have impediments? We always have impediments, don't we? Do we need to adjust anything? Do we need to, how can we increase confidence? How can we remove impediments? So now, usually you do an OKR check. Well, it depends. If you're doing OKRs for the sprint, you probably should check them with the daily stand-up. Or maybe you do every other day. You know? If you're doing for the quarter, it's a release, it's a PI increment. You can check it once a week, maybe twice a week. If you're doing for the year, well, once a month is plenty, right? So the frequency has to make sense. I mean, you're looking for the whole year, you're not going to check them every day, right? If you're doing for the sprint, you probably should because you need to keep tracks of those things. So it's important to check your OKRs. Don't just, oh yeah, at the end of the sprint we'll look into that, or at the end of this period, if you're not doing Scrum, we're going to look into that, and then, ooh, something didn't go too well, so we missed, didn't we? Now, in the original OKR idea by Andy Grove, there was no scoring. You either did or you didn't do. Then Google came with this idea of scoring OKRs, right? So there's red, yellow, and green. So 0 to point 0.3, you set up to do something with the OKR. So 0 to point 0.3 means you fail to make real progress. Maybe you actually managed to do something, but you didn't actually advance. Then from point 0.3 to point 0.7, what does that mean? Well, we made progress, but we kind of ran out of energy before crossing the final line on our marathon, or maybe about a few hundred meters before you got there. Green is zero point 0.7 to 1. You beat it. So Google, they always say, shoot for the impossible or really crazy thing. If you get 70% in there, you nailed it. So that's where the idea of scoring came. Now, scoring, you can do at any point. You can do this during the OKR check. Hey, where are we in completing the OKR? An example would be something like this, right? Add incident reporting to 1,000 users. That's my OKR. Maybe it's for a release of a particular piece of software. So red, I consider zero point 0.3 done, 30% done, when I get 10 internal users to test the prototype. I know by there, I hit about 30%. It's good. Okay, so what else? Well, I'm going to consider this a zero point 0.7, zero point 0.6, zero point 0.7 when we tested by 100 active users. We're not doing the internal people anymore. This is quasi live. Okay, we nailed that. Yeah, we did. We launched to 1,000. So we have 1.0. We actually did what we're set to do. However difficult, however creative we had to be. So you can use this as a scoring mechanism so you know how well you are trending. Again, KRs are all about numbers, so why not score the objectives, the OKR itself, with numbers too? You can also pre-score things, right? With something I talk more in the full class, but you can pre-score. You say, okay, this sprint, I want to reach 0 point 0.3. Next sprint, I want to reach 0 point 0.7. The sprint after, I want to reach 1.0 and do the full release. You can pre-score things. So now if we go back to Intel, how do you think they did? By the way, this is the mighty 8086. They still have pictures of those things, believe it or not. So these are their objectives. Develop and publish 5 benchmarks showing the 8086 rocks. How did they do it? Well, They said 5, they did 3. Not bad, you know. And they made a lot of progress in there. Get the 8 megahertz part into engineering and manufacturing. Bam, failed. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. Now, what about the 500? Well, we managed to do 470. Man, that's pretty good. I mean, we almost nailed it. But that gives you a pretty good idea. Now, I'm going to kill somebody because we failed. No, we run retrospective and try to figure out what we should have done better, right? But we have a pretty good idea, black and white, what we accomplish or not. So this one is a bit less binary. You consider 90% great and 60%, well, we made a lot of progress, right? So they went way out of their comfort zone. Did they beat it? They came close, but in some things they didn't. But you always try to not go for the probable, you go for the best possible. So
Can I ask a question here?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you. And
no problem. Please do. Otherwise, this gets a monologue, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate that this is more technology, and perhaps most of the people are working in technology side, and you have examples here. Any example you can give outside the technology, like marketing, because Agile is getting big in marketing side of it, advertising and all that. Any example of that and how to measure?
I can get you. Fire me an email. I can go chase some for you.
Sure.
Okay, you have my contact info on the PDF for the deck. So fire me an email. I'll grab you some stuff. I have it. I normally tend to go more on the IT side because that's where my
yeah, I do the same. It's actually easier. But yeah, thank you.
Fire me an email. I'll get you some examples. And anybody who needs, let me know. I'll get some stuff for you guys. You know, sometimes it may take me a day or 2 or 3 or even a week because I have to go chase with somebody I know and all that stuff. But you guys will get some.
Okay? Take 4 weeks. I got a lot of work to do anyway. So
okay. Well, having a lot of work to do is great, man.